New fisheye, who dis? Hello.
Yo. What's going on? Today, I want to talk to you guys about this. This is the Venus Optics Laowa 8 to 15 millimeter fisheye. Now, if you're familiar with me or you've seen some of my other content, you know that I really love this Canon 8 to 15 millimeter fisheye. I've been using this lens for about 10 years now. I love that you can get RT vignettes. I love that you can get super close to the action. And for me, I feel like this gives me the closest experience to the VX1000 depth lens sort of look with the 16:9 HD format. But there's a new sheriff in town, and this is my lens, and I'm sticking to it. And there's a few reasons why. I'm gonna get into that right now. Laowa did not send me this lens. I paid for it full price, so I'm not sponsored by them. This is not a sponsored video whatsoever. This is just my honest take on a new lens that I've purchased and started to use. Also, if you like content like this, you wanna see more of it, please hit that subscribe button. It would help me out a lot. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. Got a thing going on right now where when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm gonna send a few subscribers a little care package. So please hit that subscribe button. It would really mean a lot to me. Let's get back into the video. As I said, I love the Canon 8 to 15 millimeter fisheye, but I have a graveyard of these things because one board hit or any sort of scratch on the surface and it's done. You gotta buy a new one. The first time I ever scratched one of these, I looked into just trying to get the glass replaced and it cost more than the actual lens itself. So when Venus Optics released this, the Laowa 8 to 15 millimeter fisheye, I was super intrigued because this lens is $699 at the time of this recording, while this Canon lens is $1,299. Plus, for Sony users or Panasonic users or any other users other than Canon, when you use the Canon lens, you have to pay an additional fee for an adapter so that you can fit it onto your camera. Whereas this, you can get it for Sony EF mount straight onto the camera, no need for an adapter. Pretty cool. That in and of itself was enough to make me interested in this lens and try to see what's going on with it. As you can see here, the lenses are pretty similar in size. This is the Canon with the adapter on it. A little bit longer, and weight-wise, they're about the same, but very, very similar. The Canon lens is listed at 540 grams, whereas the Laowa lens is about 650 grams, but I weighed them with the adapter on, and the Canon comes out to a little bit over 700 grams. This is about 650, 655 grams. So they're pretty similar. It's a pretty nominal difference. Not to get too spec heavy here, but there are a few other key differences. One is that the Laowa is not weather sealed. The Canon is. So if you're looking for something weather sealed, if you're filming in super harsh conditions all the time, yeah, maybe you want to spend that extra money and get the Canon. Also, the Canon is f4, whereas this Laowa is f2.8, so you get a little bit of extra light. If you really want to go with the Canon and you want that extra light, you can get a Metabones Speed Booster adapter, which is I've used, but to be honest with you, I never really shoot with my fisheye that wide open anyway, so it's not really that big of a deal, but you do get a little bit of extra light with the Laowa. And lastly, there's no autofocus on the Laowa. There is autofocus on the Canon. Again, I never use autofocus on my fisheye. I just set my focus to where I want it to be and I'm good. But if you really want autofocus on a fisheye, the Laowa is not gonna be your friend. So let's get into actually using the lens. I took both of these lenses with me on a trip to the Netherlands recently. I was really excited to try the Laowa, but I had never really used it out in the streets and I wanted to have a backup, so I brought both.
So first thing I'm noticing is that the vignette actually seems more uniform than on the Canon.
The first day we were there, we were warming up at a skate park and Devin Flynn was nice enough to do a little warm-up line with both lenses. I'll put those on the screen here.
That was a really quick, just set it up. Devin did that trick like twice in a row and then it was started to drizzle a little bit while we were doing that. So. But just off the bat, this is the Canon still. I actually really like the feel of the Laowa. It feels pretty sturdy. It also doesn't stick out as far. So I feel like I can actually maybe get a little closer on certain shots, get a little bit more underneath somebody if I need to, underneath their board. So just from looking at it in the viewfinder, I feel like it's pretty pretty crisp, pretty sharp.
Instantly, I was pretty impressed. There was literally no learning curve with the Laowa. It felt almost exactly the same as using the Canon. I could get just as close. I could get the vignette that I really like, and it felt great. So later that day, our first day of the trip, we ended up at a pretty heavy skate session on a gap to rail.
Laowa 8 to 15.
I was a little on the fence, still like, man, maybe I should just go with the Canon because I know it, but I went for it. I used the Laowa on that session and further proved my point that there was no learning curve. I just felt like I was using the Canon. The only slight difference was because it's not quite as long. There is definitely like a little bit of like a weight balance sort of thing that I had to get used to, but it was really not that big of a deal. This lens is super sharp and I really love it. As the trip went on, I never used the Canon again. I used the Laowa the whole trip. This Canon has a little bit of a scratch on it too, which is part of why I didn't want to use it, but again, just brought it as a backup in case this one wasn't working out.
That was sick.
We had a session at another rail later on in the trip, and Taiga Nagai was doing a bunch of front boards just to warm up for his other trick he was gonna do. So I filmed all the front boards and I just tried to get like a little bit creative with the angle. I filmed it a few different ways, a few different techniques, and I was really impressed with how this lens worked out. My only real gripe with this lens was that the lens cap comes off very easily, and there was multiple times in my bag where I would open my bag up and the lens cap would be off. So I had to start storing it lens side down just to be safe. I've also since then started using a little lens bag that I wrap it up in just to have a little extra protection. But that was my only thing. I was like, this lens cap just comes off so easily that it was just coming off left and right. So just be careful of that if you do purchase this lens. So that's what I got. This is my new go-to lens, mainly because of the price point. The form factor is nice because it is a little bit more compact. I don't need the adapter. It just goes right in my bag. That's a pretty nominal difference. Mainly it's the price, and it just feels solid. I know it's not weather sealed, but it is a very, very solid, well-built lens. The Canon is still a great lens. If you have it in your budget and you want this lens for the weatherproofing, the autofocus, or you just want to say that you have the king of fisheyes, go for it. I don't see why not. It's a great lens, and I would use this lens again. But for me, the price point, I'm going with this Laowa 8 to 15. It's my new main squeeze when it comes to fisheyes. So that's it. Tell me what you think. Are you gonna go with this Laowa? You gonna go with the Canon? You gonna go with something else? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you back here with another video, hopefully soon. Thank you. Peace.
What a way to break in the new fisheye.